All right. Awesome. All right, everybody. Hello. Hello. It's Georgiana. Sorry. I'm going to be over here on this side, Sandra and everybody, um, so I can look at questions as they come in since we're doing this on Zoom. So, all right. So hello, everybody. It's Georgiana, founder of Millions of Women Strong, and I'm here with Sandra Lee, who is one of our members, but she's also one of the contributing authors to our inaugural issue of The Wisdom of Women. And so, Sandra, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being a member. Thank you for being one of the writers and launching this baby off.
You're so welcome. It is a pleasure being here with you, doing the wow, and being in Millions of Women Strong. It's just been amazing.
Well, we love everybody that's part of this community for sure, and thank you. All right, well, why don't you share a little bit more? So Sandra, I always call it Biofork, but it's not Biofork because I think I said that earlier in the earlier Facebook Live. So let me correct myself. It's Biofield Tuning. So Sandra, why don't you say a little bit more about what that means and what that is? Because I think there's a lot of people that never heard of it before.
Yes. So Biofield Tuning uses tuning forks and sound in the energy field for healing. So everybody's pretty familiar about what the aura is, right? The aura is
Yeah.
the energy field that surrounds me. Okay. In biofield tuning, we call that the aura. And I'm going to show you an image. Okay. So this is an image for biofield tuning practitioners of the biofield anatomy. And so it's like there's this torus shape of energy that is around me. And so when I'm doing biofield tuning, I strike a tuning fork and then I bring it in from the side, or I just work in different ways with your energy field, your biofield.
It's so fascinating. There's so many different healing modalities. And, I am a big proponent of Dr. Joe Dispenza's work. And, in the end, we're all made up of energy and so many different modalities that impact that energy, which is what it sounds like you're talking about.
Yeah. I have been a massage therapist for 29 years.
Mm,
And I've learned a lot of different energetic modalities, and I really wasn't using them because
mm,
I didn't feel like I was getting results with
yeah,
people. When I learned biofield tuning, I started getting real significant results. So that's why I'm doing it now.
amazing. All right, well, let's talk. So, I'm committed that out of these conversations that people get something that they can hold on to and walk away with, so they get little nuggets. And your article, which I'm going to pull up here, that you wrote about is support your success through real food. And so you and I were talking prior to coming live, and I'm like, how does this even relate to what you do? And so why don't you share with people what you shared with me, because I'm sure you can say it way better than I could.
Yes. So I believe that what happens with my energy field is context dependent.
Mm,
I may be feeling good and happy and everything is going great, and my energy field will be flowing and it's open.
yeah.
If I start thinking about something that I'm stressed about or worried about, or I feel trauma associated with, my energy field will get all stuck and blocked. And so if I strike the tuning fork and everything is good, it'll sound like this, just nice and easy and smooth and easy. And as I move the tuning fork, it's just flowing in a river. Okay. If something is stuck, right, I strike the fork and it's like, ugh, it gets caught.
Mm,
Run into an energy block.
that's so fascinating. So you and I talked. So one of the things you said was if people have issues with food, which lots of people do. I'm one of those people. So you mean to say that if you and I were talking having a session or something and about food. Say I wanted to get over my issue with food, which would be a miracle. But anyway, you mean that when you hit the bio fork, you would hear it get stuck?
It would sound different.
Wow.
Okay. So the sound of the fork might be different. And as I move it in the field, it might change. The sound might go away. It might be really harsh and loud and blaring, right?
Wow.
So it's like, um, are you willing to vocalize what one of your biggest food struggles is?
Um, there's so many. Um, so
Okay,
just,
so here's one
yeah.
that I think here's one that I can already feel like is probably an issue. Okay, so it sounds to me like you believe that getting past these food struggles is not possible for you. Is that true?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Right? So it's like you do not sound like the normal Georgiana who I know, right?
Yeah.
When you're thinking about talking about this issue.
Yes.
So it's like, let's do a little bit of biofield tuning associated with this. Okay.
Okay.
So it's like this time, what I notice is that there's a sinking feeling in my body. So it's like I get a lot of intuitive information. It's not just the sound, right? So it's like thinking about this issue, right? Struggled for a long time with food issues. I don't know if this is possible for me to get past it, right? I strike a fork and it's like, ugh. So it's like thinking about how there is a weight that holds you down in being fully yourself associated with this issue,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it's like, think about a time when you felt really good about yourself and food, like you had a success.
Okay.
So think about that. Got that in mind?
Yeah.
That feels entirely different, right? There is a lift here. There's an openness. It's like, oh, yeah, I can be me in the world, right? Thinking about your success, okay? So think about a time where maybe you had an intention around food and how you were going to eat, and you did not manage to keep up with your intention. So think about that.
Okay.
So even before I strike the fork, it's like I'm curling myself up, right? Because the energy is pulling in. And it feels like painful in my heart, right? It's like I disappointed myself. I didn't follow through. It's just like, failed again.
Yeah.
Okay? So it's like, think about what your plans and intentions are going forward for yourself with your food.
Okay.
Okay, got something positive that you feel about and something you're hopeful that you can actually like execute.
Yep.
Okay. And it's like there is like this freedom. It's like this ability to breathe that wasn't there a second ago, right? A second ago it was like this. So it's like that's the kind of information that I get when I'm using Biofuel Tuning, right? So it's like I've been doing intuitive work for 30 years, long time, and I get some of that information even without the tuning fork. So there was one point I said, even before I strike the fork, I can feel, right? It's already curling down. But I get so much more information now that I use the tuning forks in this way. It's like, I
So
described,
sorry.
I
Finish your
described it
thought.
that I described it that the sound, it's like opens a doorway through which I just access all kinds of information
Hmm.
that I don't have access to otherwise.
So then, so then what? So now you have all this information about, what it's like, the closing and the opening and, what's there. So how does the biofork, the sound impact my energy?
So I believe that sound is the most potent creative force that we have. It's more potent and powerful than light. And I believe that when combined with intention the sound executes way more change than just using my intention.
Yeah. So good. And I just want to say, for those of you that are watching, if you have questions for Sandra as we're going through, that's why I keep looking over here, refreshing the screen to see if there's any questions. So feel free to ask a question or comment as we're going through here. So, all right, so this is fascinating. So let's kind of get back to your article, right, around, real food. And I mean, why, I mean, this is maybe a silly question because probably a lot of people know eating real food and how it impacts, but as it relates to what you do, how are the two combined?
Oh, there's so many ways to answer that question. So I'm thinking about someone who I work with who really struggles with food and really struggles with believing in herself
Mm,
and really struggles with her relationships. I mean, there's just like trauma all over the map for some people. And there's a lot of people, unfortunately, in that situation.
yeah,
So, and food is like the object that is at the top of the pile of not feeling good, right? And it's the most obvious way that some people really struggle because they know that they want to be eating better, but they're not doing it. And because of all of this, the big pile of trauma and feeling bad about themselves in all areas of life, and food is the one that they're trying to change, right?
yeah,
But part of why making the food choices is hard is because of all of the other trauma. They're not believing in themselves and all of the history and family of origin and, bad relations, all that stuff limits my ability to feel good about myself. And if I don't feel good about myself, it's going to be really hard to make those empowering, positive food choices.
yeah,
And when I'm not making the good food choices, I'm eating garbage that makes it so my brain doesn't work well, makes it so my body doesn't have sustainable energy. Right? So it's like it's one of these situations where everything is just spiraling downhill.
yeah,
And food is the one that people want to change the most because it winds up being in their mind the obvious thing to go to address the whole W issue that so many people struggle with. And food,
weight, you mean weight
yes,
by W,
food is
yeah,
the way that people try to address that issue that so many people just like really have a hard time with.
yeah. It's really fascinating. I mean, I love what you're saying about how, eating real food can just be one impact for your mind, healthy weight, all that. But I think, since this is really about our community is full of, what I call warrior entrepreneurs, it really does. I mean, I think it's important. I guess what I'm trying to say, it's really important to connect it all the way through, like how you're being in your business, if you're a speaker, and like all the different things that just having the healthy relationship to whatever it is, like healthy relationship. I'm just getting this from our conversation, but like I've been I spent all last week frustrated on a software that I was moving over to for my emails and such. And having a healthy relationship to technology or you know eh, whatever, as an entrepreneur, to our clients even, like there's whatever that is, right, to potential clients, to like there's so many different aspects of being a warrior entrepreneur, as I say, that it's imperative to have that healthy relationship and not have the biofield go dong instead of ding.
Yes. So again, with all of these things that you're talking about, it's all dependent on how much of this pile of stuff I've actually
Mm,
dealt with.
mm,
So people who are successful have been dealing with for their whole life all of the stuff in this pile and making the pile smaller.
yeah,
the bigger my pile of unaddressed stuff is,
Yeah.
the more ineffective I'm going to be in all areas of my life.
Yeah.
You're referring to how you do anything is how you do everything,
Everything. Yeah.
right? So food, work, marketing, sales, all of these things, if I have a huge pile of unresolved ick stuff holding me down, it's going to hold me down everywhere.
Yeah. So it's so fascinating. So tell everybody, give, I mean, you've kind of given a lot of nuggets throughout this whole thing, but if you were to give one or two things, actionable things that people could take on right now to impact this, other than, just calling you and doing some work with you, but what are some things that people could take away right now and do to impact that pile of stuff?
Not specifically just about food, but in general.
Yeah.
Okay. So when it comes to making a decision, any decision, big decision or little decision, notice, how do you feel about it?
Mm,
And how does it feel in your body? So it's like
mm,
doing body work forever. I'm always getting people in body.
yeah.
So if I think about doing something that is challenging or difficult, does it create a tightness inside? So if it does, I have to evaluate, is this something I actually want to do or not?
Wow.
So many times, I'm going to use I, but it's not really me so much anymore. So many times I do something because I think I should or I have to, when my deep inside is like, that's not the right thing for me to do. But I do it because I think I have to,
Yeah.
or somebody else is telling me I have to. Or so it's like when it comes time to making any decision, what I'm going to eat, how I'm going to dress, whether I'm going to, go on a date with this new person, right? Does it feel opening and positive, or does it feel like I'm shutting myself down?
Great.
And then if I am doing something that I feel like I have to do and it creates that closing feeling, evaluate. Because sometimes I still need to do those things. That's just life in the world.
Yeah.
So it's like, what's motivating this action that makes me close down? Do I feel like it's because somebody else says something? Is it because I'm trying to keep somebody happy? Is it because I feel like, you know what, this is difficult for me, but I really need to make this stretch? Because anytime I'm doing something that's outside my comfort zone, which, as business people, we do all the time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Sometimes I have to do that,
Yeah.
right? So it's like going through that evaluation process and then deciding, is this something I want to do or not?
Yeah. Oh, good. So I'm just refreshing this one last time because I want to see if there's anybody that has any questions.
Now, let me do a little bit of biofuel tuning commentary about what we were just talking about.
Okay.
Okay. So it's like if somebody comes to me, a business person comes to me, and they have this thing that they want to do, they know it would be good for them to do, but they have that retraction inside, right? Doing biofuel tuning can help to open that up, to free them up to be able to more confidently move forward with what that is.
Wow.
There could be negative beliefs based on a history of trauma that are causing that retraction. When they can go back and look at that, like, you know what, I was 6 years old, I'm making a decision now based on something that happened when I was six. Do
And
I
say,
actually
say say something about what you mean by trauma, because you and I had a back and forth chat about this, because some people, like I did, like when I think trauma, I'm thinking, something pretty traumatic had to have happened. So mostly I'm like, yeah, I haven't had really any traumas in my life, right?
Yeah.
So talk about what you mean by trauma so it gets on
So
the board here.
when I was a child, my experience was that everything I did and I said was wrong, right? And I just had a strict mother that expected, things to be done a certain way. It
Yeah.
was normal, right? My parenting was actually better than normal, really. I had a lot of advantages that a lot of people didn't have. And yet I came away from that experience feeling like everything I did and said was wrong. So to me, being corrected in a, normal way, just like any of us would with our children, right? I received that over and over and over again as trauma that affected my belief about who I am, my ability to express myself and be the person who I want to be in the world.
So then is it safe to say that a trauma is something, no matter how big or how small, that alters your view of yourself or life itself?
That
Yeah.
has me believe that I am limited,
Yeah. Great.
that I'm not good enough, that I can't do something right.
So the biofield, the work that you do can help people move through those limiting beliefs.
They come up all the time when we're working, and it's like, oh, and it might be something that they consciously remember happening, or maybe they don't consciously remember an actual event,
Yeah.
right? It could be a whole period of time or a relationship, right?
Mm.
And so the person still energetically is 6, right? And so I have people, okay, go back to when you were 6 and look at what happened, right? The decisions that you made at that time based on those events make sense, why you would reach that conclusion,
Yeah.
and then come here to yourself now, right? Do you want to continue to make decisions as if you were 6 now? Does that make sense now?
Probably
So that
not.
you get to choose, right?
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like the sound and the intention we're bringing to it. My awareness, and then I bring your awareness to it. Because we talk about it just like we are now,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
it's like, look at yourself when you were 6. Okay, I got it. Kept you safe, kept you alive. Do you want to make your decision now in your business based on the decisions of a 6-year-old?
Probably not a good idea,
But people do it all the time,
of course.
unconsciously.
Yeah. So amazing. Well, this has been, I'm just going to refresh one last time here and see if there's any questions or comments. Okay. So we're just that clear. So Sandra, listen, this has been fun. I mean, I've learned, I have even done a course with you. I've done, known you for some time. And, first off, your intuitive nature is you're so in tuned and following your intuition and stuff. That's the one thing that I really experience with you. And so I'm excited that we had this opportunity to chat, because it even gotten me deeper understanding of what it is you do and why you do it. It's brilliant. So thank you for being here with me today.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for asking.
Yeah.
And thank you again for Millions of Women Strong. It really is an exceptional group. Our
Thank you.
meetings are just like
Yeah.
different than any other networking group that I've ever attended. And you know that already, but
Yeah, I do hear that a lot, and I'm very grateful, because that is one of the things that I'm committed to. And speaking of that, we have our next one's coming up August 4th, 11:45 a.m. Pacific. So if you're not yet signed up, I sent an email out today. It's posted in the group. You want to make sure that you get registered for that, and we can't wait to see you there. And I'll actually put the link in the comments as well for the event. And I'm also going to put a link to Sandra's article that she wrote in the Wisdom of Women. So make sure you check that out. And all of her contact information is at the bottom of that article as well. So if you're like, this sounds interesting, and you want to reach out to Sandra, all of her information will be there as well. So until next time, so tomorrow at 1:00, we're getting all the health and fitness out. In the next 2 days, I have Alicia Carlson, who is written about fitness, and she is an expert on health and nutrition. And so I'm excited to have her. So that'll be tomorrow at 1:00 Pacific as well. And thank you, everybody, for being part of our community. And we hope to see you at our next event, August 4th. Until then, see you
thank you,
later.
everybody.
Thank you. Bye.